Hi everybody, welcome to week 3 videos. This is going to be combining a couple of different topics here. One of them is going to be dealing with the charts and basically formatting, colors, what we can do with these types of things, messing around with charts, and then views, how things look, and some hyperlinks too. So without further ado, here we go. Different types of formatting things that are in here. We've already seen things way up here in the number group. There's $, which is accounting format, percentage, comma style, things like that. Well, there's a lot of things that you can see. And for example, let me start typing something over here. And let me type in, say, 30192. Okay. Right there is just a number. Right now, it's a general number. But if I actually go into here and I want to change these things, obviously currency, accounting, everything else is changing like this. But look at this one. Short date. 8/29/1982. It's actually how many days since midnight on New Year's 1900. I know it sounds weird to say. So if it was a regular number, again, comma style, it is 30,192 days after New Year's Day 1900. So sometimes if you see this thing, let's say like we had all these dates here, right? What if they were all in comma style and you're like, what's going on? There's supposed to be a year, it's supposed to be a date. What's going on with this thing? Chances are the format is not going to be in dates. So literally, literally all you're going to do is grab this for the column, whatever it is, go up to here and select short date, and now you have the date. Okay, same thing with this. Right now it's accounting format, but if I change it to date, now it's automatically a date. And inside a date, you can change things to long date. It would be Sunday, August 29th, 1982. I mean, it's the long piece if you want to, but I mean, there's things that you can change. So that's the big thing, is you want to be able to see these types of things. Other places here, increased decimal, decreased decimal are over here. You're going to use these things a lot throughout the whole semester. There's also custom formats too. So for example, if I go all the way down here, scientific notation is here too, by the way. If I click on more number formats, you'll see this one down here. It says custom. Now custom allows you to do whatever you choose. So for example, this one right here, I'm going to slide it down some. It says Sunday, August 29th, 1982. If I start changing some of these things, it tells me what's going to show here. So just by changing this, 1 month, a day, and 2 years, and if you see there's a comma after the D. So what if I did 8, typed in a dash, now look what happens up here, is there has a dash there too. If I get rid of that, I put a dash and a space. Okay. And what if I get rid of a couple Y's? Now it just has 2 for a year, means I have 2 for a year, 2 for a day, 2 for a day, 1 for a month, 1 for a month. If I put an extra M here, it's going to have a 08. Okay. So it's going to do the bare minimum that it can do. So as soon as I click OK on this, I'm going to show you guys the OK button down here. I click OK and it changes to that format. So you could customize things that you want. So it's kind of a nice little feature. All right, I spent way too much time on that. All right, other things in here are in the font size right here. Calibri, you guys have seen this stuff before. You've already increased things. So increase, decrease. You can just grab it and actually select whatever you choose. You can also, if it's highlighted like this, just start typing in 56, enter. It's obviously going to get massive at 56. Different things inside of here. Oops, sorry. Different types of scripts, fonts, and everything inside of this. This is not really that big of a deal. We're not really typing papers here, so I don't think it really matters all that much for you, but this is where you're going to change it. Also, when you're doing this, you want to always make sure that for certain things, like for example, this is a title, you don't necessarily change it over here because you want this stuff to be actually following ADA compliance. Americans with Disability Act compliance. So what you want to do is go to Styles group, Cell Styles, and you want to change things from here. So you want it to be a title, click Title. And then in readers, it will actually go through and actually say title, Metro Community News. This right here, you might go into this and you might say it might be heading number 1 or heading 2 or heading 3. Depending on the heading, people understand what it is when it's being read to them if they use one of those machines. So say heading 4, or these things could be in heading 4s as well. Okay, so there's a lot of different things you can do. Same thing with this. Maybe I want this thing to be, say, heading 3 because I want a line underneath it, or heading 2, something like that. But that's where you're going to go to do that, more so than going into here. Okay. Other things you can do inside of here, obviously you can see this is bold. There's italicized. We can make this italicized. You can underline it if you want. Okay. And whatever's going to change is going to change. So last thing inside of this part, and this is kind of a nice thing, merge and center. If you click in A1, I'm going to click, hold, and drag all the way to the end. Let's go to, say, let's go to here, to G. If I click merge and center, it's going to take this and merge it into one cell. So there is no longer a D1 anymore, right? It's A1 only. If I type in B1, it's still going to bring me back to this because this is all it is one thing. It's merged into one piece. The wrap text is kind of nice because it lets you have things like, for example, this thing right here. It says account number, you can see in the formula bar, but it doesn't fit. So if I click wrap text, now it's going to wrap down and continue on rather than going into a straight line. Like this subscriptions, actually, it doesn't fit. So if it was able to be 2 words, it would separate into 2 different pieces here. Okay, subscriber since, same thing. Wrap text, subscribers on one, since is on the other. Okay, so that's one thing you guys can do in there. That's a really nice feature that you're going to use too. A lot of these things, also, if you wanted to grab, like, say, this piece, there's center align, which makes sure they center up. So this, you can see account number. It used to be set up on the left-hand side. Now it's going to be center align, so it goes in the middle of everything. Okay. Subscription is now in the middle as well because the S over here is cut off and the S on this side is also cut off, ironically. And this one is going to line it up and down. So if you move it, it puts it in the middle of the cell no matter where it is if you do these 2 things. Okay. Adjusting column width so I can actually get this thing to fit. The best place to go with that is going into the cells group in the home tab, and you're going to go to format. And inside here you have auto fit row height, auto fit column width. Those are the 2 places you're going to want to do these things for. So these are all selected. So we're going to auto fit the column width. Click on it once and it automatically sizes these things to fit. This one is all going to be the same. So this one right here, I don't know why this is kind of funny. Let me do that one more time here. Column fit. Oh, because this one was the one that was highlighted. Sorry. So that's because I actually had this one highlighted. So it's going to adjust it based on this actual size. You could see A1 subscriber, that's great, but that one doesn't fit, right? That's because when I had these selected and I do the column fit, it's doing it based on these cells. So now here's the nice part. If I grab the headers, these are the column headers, remember, it grabs the entire column at once. There's 2 ways you can do this. In fact, I'll just grab a couple of them. I'll do these 4 first. Format, auto fit column width. If I click on that, it automatically makes this fit now, no matter what. And if I show these 3, what I'm going to do instead over here is I'm going to actually double click. See that little 2-way arrow, so to speak? If you have these headers selected, if you click on that double piece, all 3 of these are now going to be resized to exactly what they need. Okay? So that one changed because year of membership I had to fit. And then this one right here, these all now fit. All right? So that's a nice little shortcut. To be honest with you, I probably go up to here and double click these more often than not. It just makes it a lot faster for me. All right. Let's see. So insert and delete columns. Obviously, this one right here is blank. We didn't know it was blank because everything was overloaded in it. So I'm going to take this and get to the row column, the column heading again. I'm going to right click on it and say delete. If I ever want to get anything back, say I wanted something between account number and subscriptions, if I right click on C and I say insert, it's going to go between the B and the C. So it always adds to the left if I'm going to do this. So it pushed it over. Okay. I'm going to undo that because I don't really need it. And this one right here, I'm going to say this one right here, I'm going to right click and again delete it. That's fine. Goes bye-bye. And if I want to right click on the 2 and say insert, it's going to give me something above the 2. So it always adds above and to the left, no matter what it's doing. Hopefully everybody's okay with that. You can also hide things too. Say I didn't want this row to be here, but I didn't want to eliminate it. If I right click, you say hide. That's another way to do it too, okay? So if I hide it, it now goes from 1 to 3. You can see there's a little tiny line inside of there, but you really can't see anything as far as this is concerned. And that's a good thing because you might need something in there. You might want to reference something in there, but you just don't need to see it. Same thing with this one. I don't need to see this date here. So if I right click and hide, you go from G to I. It's fine. It's still there. So how do you get those back? Highlight on either side of it, right click, and click unhide, and it will reappear. Okay. Other things in this part are dealing with colors and patterns and things like that. If you go in the page layout group, there's something on the far left called the themes group. The themes group basically lets you have different colors. And with this, you have different fonts, glossy, riblet, things like that. I mean, they're kind of interesting for certain pieces, but like for this, I don't know. It depends if you have pictures, really. I don't have any pictures in here to use it, but fonts, you have different types of fonts that you can use that changes different themes depending on what you're looking for. You know, again, it's completely your preference on some of these things, okay? That's kind of a cool one to see this one. The other things that are in here are certain color themes as well. So these are all different types of color themes. Say you were doing something in the fall, perhaps. You're doing something in October, November, September, somewhere in that. Maybe you want to do some advertising. You might want to use these color themes as your base colors. Okay, so let's yellow, orange here. So when I go to these themes, you can see these things too. It's the same thing. And they change themes with colors as well as they change the fonts as well, as you can see. So that font was changed because I picked a different theme. Okay, and there's no rhyme or reason to the names. It's just different names. There's tons of them inside of here. So, okay, slate, right? So when I do this, when I go back to this part right here, all these fills and everything we have here, these standard colors are always here, but these are the base theme colors. These were different before. So let me go back to page layout, themes group, and I'm going to pick a different theme. And now I'm going to go back to home tab, and you're going to see that these are now different colors because the theme is different. Okay. I'm just about running out of color or time on this video, so I'm going to pause it and continue in a minute.